and welcome. I am Devine Aminata Umakamara and welcome to the Devine Talk Show. Yes, this is the second episode of the Devine Talk Show and we're ready now for giving the best of the best. But before we go, take your phone now. If you know say you don't ever follow this page yet, follow this page now and not forget to subscribe so that anytime we post, you will be the first to notify. Today we didn't ask for talk on a very sensitive topic. What we know say 95% of the youth and young people they go through difficulties when it comes to relationship. And the question say how you when they watch me so go able to maintain your relationship. It don't say when you strong with a relationship. It don't say when you try to find the right person, but up till now you don't get a yet. But no worry. You worries them done because I get beautiful, wonderful people with experience where you can take on and through how to maintain that relationship where they give you a dance, that relationship where they make you stress, that relationship where they make you not able to eat. Today, solution will come. As they allow me beautiful and charismatic guests them for introduce themselves. Stay glued, no go no side. Because if you miss any part of this video, you don't miss a whole lot. So stay glued as the beautiful guests them, they can introduce themselves to us this afternoon. So before we go further, as the saying goes, ladies first. So gents, I beg Alona give me the, with your permission, Alona give me the permission for allowing the ladies them for introduce themselves first. So I will start with the beautiful lady from the far left for introducing herself.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Joyce Chachu Hilton, and I'm a marketing professional working across West Africa. And then I'm also a married woman. I've been married for close to 5 years, and so I'm here to share with you from a career woman perspective how to balance working and also being in a relationship. So I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so una do you from Joyce, and they can't tell una you will feel say you are married woman and your relationship toxic. You will feel say because you don't married, you don't forget a healthy relationship. Joyce then I ask for take una through, and I will also allow another beautiful lady. Oh yes, if you dey look for salon or motola, a day right now. So I dey allow this woman for introducing herself. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello viewers. I'm Alice Kawasise, commonly called in the film industry Sierra Leone or Motola. I am an actress, a producer, and I also work at the Feed the Hungry Sierra Leone NGO organization. So I was married. I was married for over 12 years. Unfortunately, I am separated. So with my experience, my journey through my marriage, my breakup, my success, I'm ready to share with every one of you. You can ask any question. I'll be pleased to answer you.
Thank you very much, Madam Alice. And just like Madam Alice say, feel free for ask question. As the Devine Talk Show, they inspire, educate, and entertain. So feel free, as we then I answer for answer any question where you go get in terms or we get for deal with your relationship. So now, I will give the gents them because I still say some don't begin to give me eye. So I will give the gents with the right middle, two beautiful ladies them, the opportunity or the chance for instead.
Alright, so to the esteemed viewers, good afternoon. I'm Victor Francis Nico. An engineer and currently I serve as operations manager for Easy Solar. But also, I want to say I also don't be married for 7 years plus. And so hopefully I'll be able to share with some insights of good and bad times in relationship. And I hope so we'll learn from that. I will be waiting for take questions whenever one asks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I don't get up from a gentle man. It say it go ready for share with you the good and bad Not feel so way in the relationship not forget jam up. The relationship not forget small shake. It's supposed to forget that now it make we all human. For the fact that 2 months a man they come together, we have to expect good and bad. So now I dey give this gentleman on his shoulder. And I give him the chance for him to introduce himself.
Samuel Devine is the name, and commonly known as Of Diamond. So it's like I mean I always single somebody here, so we not join the married boat here. You're the host, you're the best. Yeah. I deal with the Abadi Women Center where everybody can call Master Sheep, and I'm an actor, and I'll be taking on these guys.
Okay. So it's been more interesting. We get actor, we get actress. So guys, thank you very, very much guys for that wonderful, sweet and brief introduction. We know say we guest we know say we viewers them just go they wait now for you, waiting at the topic and waiting on our guests for tell them. So viewers, if you are just joining, welcome to Devine Talk Show. This is a show where they inspire, educate, and also entertain. And today we didn't ask for entertain, we didn't ask for educate, and we didn't ask for inspire. Some people don't get broken marriage. Some people don't get relationship who don't fall. Some people they look for go into relationship. So we want to make una almost say we get brilliant people then we will take una through how to maintain your relationship. So now the topic say how to maintain an intimate relationship. The word intimate. Say people, if we say how to maintain relationship, the word relationship is broad. But we don't limit them, we don't try to squeeze them to intimate relationship. So now we want to ask, or people that we want to know, what are the factors where responsible, what are the factors for maintain intimate relationship? So I don't know who that's will take me through. Anybody can start.
There are lots of factors that really maintain an intimate relationship from my own point of views. The problem with relationships that way not intimate, where they make it clash at an early stage is because the relationship don't lack a lot of things already. Because there are a lot of relationship immediately you're married, you forget a certain things, you forget to do certain things, you ignore certain things. The things you used to do that's got that person intimate with you, you've forgotten them, you're abandoning them. For me, intimate in a relationship now really keep the relationship going. For example now, I used to look good for my husband, for my boyfriend before we were married. Immediately we got married, I forgot to look good. I used to make him his favorite meals because I wanted him to marry me. Immediately we got married, I forgot him to cook his favorite meals. We used to communicate, go out. We used to go to places, explore. Immediately we've gotten married, we've forgotten about all these things. Okay, yes, family is a different ballgame. But at the end, if you are not keeping the intimacy intact, trust me, you're killing the relationship. You are slowly killing the relationship. So for me, intimacy in any relationship, just don't forget your purposes. You have purposes that made you say, yes, I will. Yes, I do. And you add purposes that made that man to see you and ask you. Well, plenty. There are a lot of women, there are a lot of men. But for you to be choosing, you had something special that man saw in you that made him propose. So don't kill it.
It's a nice one. And I think personally, I would throw that line there. And we basically get factors we responsible for upholding an intimate relationship. Just like what we host say, we get different types of relationship, but an intimate one, that is something else. That is something else. And some of the factors we are intimate relationship, like plenty other types of relationship, communication, trust, forgiveness. You get a whole lot of them.
Bundle, yeah.
It's like a package. And an intimate me personally feel an intimate relationship stronger than every other type of relationship. Because it goes extremely personal. As in the involvement of sex. But the only relationship that we make room for that extremely personal side of relationships. Other types then the boy not make room for sex. So now that make me feel say an intimate relationship is more deeper than any other kind of relationship we can get with any other person. So she's on the right track and I'm too.
Alright, I think I want to throw some more light to what my brother and my sister just say about intimacy in relationship. Yeah, basically, just like how the brother will say, you get certain factors where they use for uphold relationship where you don't start and for keep on, because you can start and then first of all what I want to say is there are stages in a relationship. You get our first making call on the first 3 months of the relationship where you then tell you all the electrics that they go on and your body has a silly person, all the chemistry so tight and everything. And then there is that aspect of the relationship in the next 3 months where probably the realities that will begin setting. Even now the boyfriend-girlfriend stage, when I go to marry, the realities that will begin setting, because being in a relationship for 3 months, the first 3 months, when I don't see plenty of things, when I don't visit and say a lot of things that don't happen, then when I go to the next stage, so that next stage they trigger very serious discussions. So the question is, your partner strong enough to uphold conversations with you, serious conversations? Sometimes the room they get bored, your host will get bored. So let me start. Now, communication are the basics. You get to uphold communication strongly. Whether it's a long distance relationship, whether one are the closer, that everyday texting, that everyday calls, maybe 2-3 times a day, depending on how busy you schedule it. Because I'll tell you one thing, if you know they talk to a woman, or you woman, if you know they talk to a man, somebody they every morning they text and baby, how are you? Or a lady the way they call the guy, say, hey guy, good morning, how did you sleep? So you get to keep that communication alive. Number one, it's very important. Number two, trust. Trust in a relationship is very good because it helps for keep them. Now trust basically in a way when it creates them foundation of foundation around weakness, around insecurity, you know, where you will not say, I get this because nobody knows just the grab, they go share in personal stuff with anybody. When you get the person, you don't engage them, you feel comfortable at some point and say, oh, I can share all of my insecurities with the person, and you will keep a secret for me. So your relationship for being your friend, that kind of person, if you're able to keep them, you're able to maintain us to that level where you're not able to talk to yourself. And somebody for able to know all your secrets, all your problems, and still care about you beyond that level. So you build that level of trust inside a relationship. It's very important. Okay, and also you get you get to be adventurous. Go out. If you not stay within one place for a very long time, it becomes boring. And sometimes what about date nights? Go out, movie theater, go to the beach. If you want to play football, we'll be in greatest cheerleader. You know. So and the other thing is, while on a day out, be romantic with words. Okay? Tell you what you baby on your face and tell us, baby, I love you. It might not do always. You see, there is something about intimacy. When you be romantic with words at the right place, it creates the gem. So for instance, when I go now like Lagunda or one nice place, I didn't ever go watch like baby and tell us, I really appreciate you. It's different from when I did say that small. Yeah. So the place and the right words. The right words in the right place is very important.
Baby, you love me
And then, if I might panelists have been so generous to add is that, in relationships, aside from communication, which is the bedrock of, the relationship, I think most people do not take into consideration the importance of having open, realistic conversation and asking questions about the future that makes sense. So when people are in a relationship and there's all this chemistry flowing, they don't ask, how many children do you want to have? Where do you want to go to school in the future? Like, do you have plans to go to like a university in the future? Let's say, how do you want to raise the children? Maybe you're Muslim, maybe you are Christian. How do we see raising the children? Maybe I like beating children. No, I think my children should not be beaten. Or I want my mom to come and take care of the kids when we are married and, at home. Or I don't want your mom to come and live with us. Like, understanding is there in a relationship, but when you don't discuss certain important things, you don't have certain conversations or ask certain questions before you guys go a step further into the relationship, what you're doing is that you're setting yourself up for failure. Because love can only take you so far. The chemistry can only take you so far. Once you start like working, this person says, I want to go to school, pay for my school fees, I want to travel, I want to go here and study. You are insecure, maybe from your upbringing, you're a bit insecure, so you can't stand your partner being away from you for too long. You didn't discuss that before marriage, but your wife or your husband is very ambitious and does not see themselves being like in the position they are now. Maybe they want to like have their PhD, have their masters, they've gotten like an international job which will take time for you to come and join him or her like overseas. You don't have that kind of discussion and you decide to go overseas. You have destroyed your relationship right from the onset. And it does not matter if you love the person or not. Because there are certain intrinsic like factors that kind of like pull apart the relationship right from the beginning. So I might love you, but if I can't trust you, I feel insecure. It's not your fault, right? You might not cheat on me when you go. But from my perspective, I feel like the relationship is no longer safe. So I'm trying to like cover my back or have a second opinion or have a second option. Then it's more of like you are setting yourself up for failure. So for me, I think that aside from everything that the panelists have said, which is very true, you need to also ask important questions. Ask the questions that you need to know. That is a deal breaker for you before you even go any further into the relationship.
Very true.
Okay. Wow. I don't say Una with the watch. Una self don't learn a lot. How important is communication in an intimate relationship? For the one that we don't know, because some relationship again don't break because of lack of communication. Why some relationship then still they go. Some people still they say, okay, well me I will give them a try. Or so how communication mean that we all don't make mention of them. How vital is communication in an intimate relationship?
In that aspect, I always say there are key things in the first place that you put note on in any relationship. First of all, the trust aspect. You need to trust who you are with. You need to give your partner a reason to trust you, and he or she should give you the reason to trust him or her. Trust. Then secondly, acceptance. Accept your partner for who he or she is. If you do that, trust me, that's a pathway of a successful, intimate relationship. Honesty. That's the bedrock of every intimate relationship. I can be honest, 99%. The day I become dishonest for that just 1% can destroy all that 99% of trust. So honesty in any relationship is very, very, very key. Communication comes with all of those. It entails all of those. Because if you don't have them, you feel insecure one way or the other and always thinking the negative aspect of life. Sometimes it drives you out of your relationship even without you knowing it. And if you don't trust your partner, you find yourself talking to the wrong people, giving you wrong advices. Everybody is not the same. If I have issue with you, if I can communicate with you, if you can be honest with me, who do you want to be honest with? I am your intimate partner. Yeah. We didn't say intimacy. Nothing is hidden. I am the only one that is having that opportunity to see your nakedness. And you are the only one that have that opportunity to see my nakedness. We break every yoke. Every yoke. You can speak to your mother, you can speak to your auntie, you can speak to your friend, but they do not have that access to your husband or to your wife. They don't. The only access is between you two. So for me, communication lies with honesty. Lies with honesty importantly, because immediately you find your partner lying to you, there's nothing he or she will say that will move you. That intimacy is scratching one way or the other without both of you noticing it. So for me, it's not just about communication. Be honest in your communication. Yeah. Be honest.
Yeah,
Don't just say, me and this woman, we talk, we communicate. I tell him, no! Be honest with your communication. Communicate from the depth of your heart. Tell the person what you are feeling. You know the problem with African marriages especially, we are afraid to communicate. If you have problem now with your husband, you are afraid to say it because you will look at how society will look at you. You are afraid of society judging you wrongly. So you keep it. You conceal it. There are lots of people that have died because of concealations. Both men and women. Because, okay, this man go say, if me go begin to tell me, party, they say, that's what me woman they do. Me not go begin to watch me like one funny guy. He started keeping it, consuming it. But who is more important for you than your wife or your partner to communicate with? You have sex. There are some partners, they only communicate with you nicely when they want to have sex, which is wrong. There are some people, even in their anger, they will then they succumb because they want to have sex. Immediately after having sex, they turn their backs. That is the most important moment to communicate. After having sex with your partner, talk. Maybe that's the moment you have your partner the way you want him or her. Communicate. There are certain things you can't tell your partner except after sex. Trust me. Because after sex, your mind is free, your heart is free. Even if you have fight, your soul is connected. You feel like, okay, now I can talk freely. You know why some people normally woke their partner up at midnight to communicate? Because according to some people, they said that's the best time that the partner will remember whatever you've said to him or her. Because like, he goes say, you put me sleep for this kind of talk. Now this kind of talk you put me sleep for. Yes, it was so funny, but honestly, it hits directly to where you want it. Okay. Without people noticing, without anybody in the midst. Yeah. You communicate directly with your partner.
All right. So even before I delve into the importance of communication, just like what you say, when I do the bedrock of every relationship, I want to discuss the reason, the problems we are having, and it's a generational something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can tell people in the picking area they born now. I don't know if you get for the modernization. They're bold.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm. We go school. Mm-hmm. They tell who they go school. Mm-hmm. Then they teach you English in a school, but you're afraid for can speak English outside because you're afraid to be company will laugh you. Mm-hmm. We come up now the majority of where few people be fortunate. We come up with families then. When you want to talk, even when picking want to say something, you go see the big brother or the papa or the mama. Say 6 months, you not even get that freedom. So you grow up with that kind of way. So you growing up now that kind of way, that's so they don't tame you. You know they talk, you learn for keep things to yourself. So that same way now you take go into your relationship. Even when something hurts, you decide to keep them. You know they tell nobody, you don't even communicate them. So you watch, you will see with generation and maybe the ones that we come before me, they are just like that. We parent them, they don't talk, they don't complain. The man is always right. That is one good thing where I appreciate we sponsor picking them now. They speak English, whether they are right or wrong. You kill yourself there now. Now so they teach at school. When you get very good home, then they help the picking for make it continue for speak good English until class 6, class 7, blah blah blah. And English don't perfect it. When that courage they will not be get. So then kill that courage and follow even speak good English to start with. And follow be bold enough. If they see somebody knows something, someone knows exactly what to say, but they are not bold enough to say it. And when somebody else says it, they will be like in their corner. That was what I wanted to say. But you didn't say it. So when you have something bugging, I'm your partner, I've done you wrong, or let's say I've not even done you wrong, you misunderstood me. You can take it up to me. Let's have a discussion and I'll explain myself. Instead of you keeping it, developing into something else, and it just goes.
You know, when you mentioned about the culture, right? The culture that withholds or keeps you from speaking, it just brought to my mind understanding your partner's background. So when you start dating someone, you need to try to understand it. So ask questions about like how they grew up, like how is the family life like, how was your upbringing, right? Because when you said that, it's like a stark opposite to my upbringing, right? When I was growing up, you dare not speak your local dialect in the house. My father would not allow you. You have to speak English. If you speak pidgin or like what you guys would say Creole, you would get like one big slap because he'll want you to speak English, right? So that's like a stark opposite. So you need to understand, for me like this, if I'm in a relationship with you, I might fear everybody outside, but once I'm in a relationship with you, I don't fear you, right? I have to tell you my mind. I have to tell you how I feel. So you need to be able to understand the nuances. So if you are dating someone who is a bit more like kept, is reserved, you guys have to have like an understanding and say, look, I can't read your mind. You can't also read my mind. So let's agree, right, that if something is going on in a relationship that you don't like, rather than keeping it in your heart and letting it eat at you, because that builds like anger and resentment. Just ask me about it. Let's talk about it, and then let's find a way to resolve it.
How about the situation where you reserved and unreserved?
Then that one is a killer.
That's a killer. The home is dead before it even starts.
No, but you know there's a type of relationship where like you know when you are reserved, you are more intuitive.
Oh yes.
So those who don't speak a lot, they are more intuitive, so they can read your body language and then they can probably tell you know what's going on with you, and then they might push you to speak. And I feel like if you're in a relationship for money, but if you're in a relationship with somebody you really love, I think that no matter how reserved you are intuitive enough to pick up on no. This is not how Devine wakes up every morning and speaks to me. So the way she's speaking to me today, I think there's something off, right? So then you sit her down and you talk to her. You let her know it's a safe space. I'm not going to like judge you or like say that how dare you talk to me and bring this issue in my. You know, there's some people like that. How dare you? You get what I mean? But if it's an open forum and you guys can talk and share, then it's much more like you're much more able to hold it together. And like my co-panelist said, there has to be trust, right? There has to be trust and honesty. So if I'm having a conversation with you and I trust that the information I'm telling you is not going to come up when your mother calls the family. It's not going to come up when your best friend comes to visit. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing my personal information, your best friend is saying it. Then because if once you destroy the trust, I don't care, I will not tell you nothing. And then from that point, it's like a countdown to the end of the relationship. From the moment the trust ends. And then I think what you can do from there is maybe go for therapy, like see a counselor, see a therapist who can then see where the break happened and then try to like reverse, you know, the damage. But then for most of the time, if there's nothing wrong, nobody's cheating, like nobody has okro mouth, like in Ghana we call it okro mouth. Yeah, like once you don't have that in a relationship, I think then you guys would be fine.
Alright, so I just want to build a little more on it. You know, like I said, you know, communication being the bedroom cannot be overemphasized. I mean, everybody knows it's very important in relationship. You know, in fact, it underscores every other factor that we have been discussing. You want to bring honesty, it has to be communicated. You want to build trust, it has to be communicated. You're going out, you have physical, you know, you have various forms of communication, physical, oral, and a lot more. So communication is really very important. And, you know, keeping a relationship, whether it's long distance or closer, like I mentioned earlier, trust is very important, like Joyce said. Trust is really very important. Your partner is going to study overseas, you have started creating some insecurity in you when probably he or she doesn't even have the intention of cheating or something. You just feel because he or she is going far away, something is going to happen. So, and also one other thing I want to add is, everybody is not looking at it, but how about maturity? It plays a great role.
Very big word.
Maturity. There are times people, I understand the trust issues come in, and people want to be delving into each other's phones, all of those things. They really do not matter, because when there is trust, then you don't have to pick your spouse's phone call, or you don't have to be waking midnight to crawl just to see what message is coming in. Trust me, these are certain things. True. It might be somebody who is into very serious very serious business dealings, which probably most men, I'll tell you, when they are onto something, they want it to come to fruition before they break it out to you.
Yes.
And within that process, they might want to keep it private until, because what happens mostly, I'm sorry, women are here, but mostly women, if you start a program and you don't finish it, just a small hiccup, they'll start taking it to tell you,
against you.
you're always a half minute, you don't even finish something. So we have learned that from women, and we want to always keep our projects a little closer and tighter until we see some evidence of completion before we start disclosing. Most men are operating that way. So sometimes if your partner is not too open up with his phone or her phone, doesn't mean he or she is really cheating. So it boils down to maturity. What happens? You don't have to delve into his or her phone. I mean, then keeping quiet in a conversation, in a heated conversation, doesn't mean you are right or wrong. You might be right, but you decide to keep quiet and listen carefully so that you guys can resolve peacefully or amicably. But just when a conversation starts, this is ranting, and everything is scattered. So all boils down to maturity. Be mature in a relationship, communicate effectively, be very honest, because first of all, when you are, your criteria of selecting a partner, it's not just going to be any kind of person. So you know, if you know yourself, you know you are intelligent somebody, you know you are going to attract somebody that is equally as intelligent as you, for you to even agree to have a relationship with that person. So why lie to that person? Even if the person doesn't talk, doesn't mean he doesn't understand, he or she is not understanding what you're doing. Probably out of maturity, he or she just takes his attention off it. You know, so be careful what you do to the next person, because just because they are not talking doesn't mean they don't know what you're doing. So some people don't talk, but then they gradually work towards terminating that relationship. So that would be my contribution for that.
Thank you very much, guys, for that. I believe, say, with the land, we get boku for land. These are just how communication, they contribute a lot. Now, some of our relationships, them. Some of who feel, say, for talk or for communicate, na problem, na big deal. if you get a partner and then another communicates to you, who do you go to speak and they don't say, now red flag or green flag, that's how they
Red
one.
Now red flag. How on half you say you're in a relationship and then the person will just call you wanted for day and you are done. My sister or my brother, it's not like you one day in that relationship though. That person they in a relationship with another person where it give in time. So we don't get one key thing where we for all. If you're not man, that baby need to give you time again, they need to call you, and not they message you. My brother, you back fend another tick. If you're not woman, you get that man all the night busy with office work. It gets other person where they give time. So communication is very key. Communication are a rock for any relationship. And if you want a relationship for be that kind of work, you want a relationship for continue for strong, no left communication, no look communication bad eye. All communication with to earn so that you will get a healthy and a happy relationship. Now this brings me to my second question I'm going to ask the house. So now how and with different relationship, married life, how will they able for balance or how will they able for manage conflict and misunderstanding, like how they able for manage them effectively? Because the reason why I ask, we get some people, if are they in a relationship with love and then we get misunderstanding, love not gonna get your money. And there are so many things. Some people, the moment they get misunderstanding by just a cup of tea, they will go a whole day, a whole month. But yet still you say you love this person, you're in a relationship with them. How I want to follow and explain, tell viewers, because there are people where they go through this. How will they able for balance or how will they able for manage conflict effectively in a relationship? How will they able for manage them?
Alright, if I can go.
Okay.
I think handling conflicts in relationship, from my experience, is be learning to listen to each other. When there is an issue on the floor, you become very attentive first of all, because you want to get every detail of what the next person is saying. And then you guys must be at almost the same level of maturity. It's very important, because what I'm saying is, let's say the one person is not up to that level of maturity, you, the man, has to be, or the woman, depending on whosoever is more mature, has to be a lot more composed. Listen carefully, get the details, and then speak your truth quietly. That will help in resolving issues in a relationship. Sometimes, mostly in the case, again, I'm not saying this out of bias, women mostly like to talk a lot. No, I look one video. This is from Archbishop Duncan Williams.
Yeah.
He's a Ghanaian. Archbishop Duncan Williams say women. He said it has been biologically proven. I don't know. That's his assertion that women are 90% emotional, while men are 10%. Okay, it says women are inclined to 90% emotions and 10% reasoning. I don't have it. I'm just saying this. I have an example of that video. Okay, so what he was saying is women are emotional beings right from creation, and he went ahead to cite some places in the Bible that just from history of creation, when God, this is just quickly aside, when God came and realized that Adam and Eve got involved in the apple eating and stuff, and then just when God appeared to them, according to Archbishop Williams, I think the movie, it's not a movie, the short video is called Battle of the Soul. People can look at it. They said as God appeared before them, before now, God was visiting them and they were okay, every one of them.
Yes.
So and God appeared, and then the man said, oh, it's not me, it's the woman.
Yes.
So the woman was now standing very emotional and stuff. He said that was the history of emotions. So he said, and the man can be doing one thing, and you're talking to him, he's not even listening, he's just focused on one thing. He said, but women can multitask, but then they are also really very emotional. So if you understand that nature of women, usually I'm saying this to my fellow men, be very attentive, be quiet, they might be speaking truth. you might be hurting them. Be just composed as men, by just history of creation and emotion thing, to listen where the problems are, and then you speak quietly and clearly. That way you can resolve issues in the relationship.
And well, I think for me, when it comes to conflict, I feel like they are a very important part of a relationship, right? So if you're in a relationship and there's no conflict, I mean you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it means somebody's pretending,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Somebody's keeping quiet,
Yes.
you understand, which is very bad for the relationship. So conflict is very essential because you come from two different backgrounds, two different upbringings, you have different things that you want. Your futures, like you have different ambitions. So definitely, like there'll be areas of like conflict or like head on,
yeah.
you know. So when these things come, it's very important to handle it with maturity, right? Because I'm hearing, you know, when there's conflict, somebody doesn't leave chop money, and then somebody leaves, like some people can leave for a week.
Yes.
I had a friend like that. Her husband would leave her for a week with the baby at home, or like no talking. You are all in the same house, but nobody's talking to one another and all of that, which shows the level of maturity that people enter into like a relationship or marriage with, which is very, very, very unthinkable. Like, why would you do that to somebody that you came to love? So for me, I considered some things. If you are having a conflict with somebody about something, you just talk it out. So have this conversation. If somebody is overly emotional, let the person cool down, right? You can go for a walk, you come back, you talk about it. For me, I think that the hardest part of like conflict resolution in relationships is when there's a third person, right? So if there's a third person in the relationship, nobody can solve it. Those are the kind of conflicts that are unsolvable because one person has somebody on the outside that they are looking forward to. So because of that, they don't want to solve the relationship with their wives, they don't want to solve the relationship with their husbands. In fact, they are praying that out of that, the husband or wife will walk out and then they can invite, you know, the next person into the relationship. So usually when there's a conflict that is too difficult to solve, and it's not like the person has cheated, or it's not those kinds of, it's more of like misunderstanding, right? And there's one person who is insistent, no, I don't want to solve this relationship. It means that
Something is wrong.
there's another person on the outside. And then also, conflicts are very, very difficult to solve. It's also more of like family involved. So when you like involving your brother, your sister, your mother, and for me, I feel like it's a double-edged sword, right? So if you're not in an abusive relationship, you have to let somebody know what is going on. Because one thing about people who are abusive or narcissistic is that they thrive in isolation. So if your husband is abusing you, or your wife, people don't speak about women abusing, but if your wife is abusing you, usually what they do is they cut you off from your friends and family, so you have nobody to talk to and actually tell them what is going on. So aside from this kind of abusive situations, if your partner is understanding, if your partner respects you, if you guys have an open conversation about things that are happening, do not involve a third person. Whether it's family member or your best friend who you think knows more about the relationship than your husband. No. Just the two of you, sit down, talk it out, hash it out, and don't let the confusion go the next day.
Yes.
The Bible even says, do not allow the sun to rise on your anger. So make sure that whatever is happening, you solve it before you go to bed. Because one thing that happens is that if you allow the anger, the resentment to fizzle out into the next day or to go into the next day, you open doors for other people to come in. So yeah, that's from my point.
That's something I agree with you on. Like me, I would say to the public, the problem that I have in my relationship that's made us get separated is one main factor is communicating with other people. Relating our problems to the outsiders. Yes, we say outsiders, even if it's my mom or my father, it's an outsider out of our marriage. They have their own home. They control it differently. We have our own. We have our own mindset. But if we can't communicate in our own language that we understand, in our own home. We take it to our people. A lot of marriages that have crashed these days, trust me, if you look at the calendar of divorces, it's long. You know why? Firstly, we don't take our time to understand the partners we are going for. Secondly, we are